Hey gang, Sean here with Sean Don Ventures. So, I'm sitting here in my van right now. It's minus 40 degrees out. We're at White Pass ski ridge and they closed the mountain. It's so cold out right now. So, right now I thought, well, I'll just start working on some videos that I have ready to edit. And one was how to actually get into this center console of the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van. And I realized I never did record an intro for that. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to open this up, this center piece here, gain access to it. Additionally, in this video, I'll also be putting in a Midland GMRS radio, so I'll show you how I'm going to wire that in. I have a magnetic slide for a semi-automatic handgun down here. Also going to be putting that in and wiring up my switching unit, so my Pro Switcher, so that it's always on based off key power there. So all of that's coming up in this video there. But before that, hey, if you like this kind of stuff, I record videos once a week. I'll upload a video, whether we're touring around the country in the Pacific Northwest or just sharing ideas on better ways to kind of maybe improve your overlanding lifestyle, whether it's in a truck or in a van. I just love making content and just sharing with the world. Consider liking and subscribing to this channel. But for now, let's get after this. Alrighty, so from here, what I was told is that you start the pry on this edge here and then gently start lifting up all the way over. And that's partially right. I think there's a better way of doing it after gaining access to it, because I did do some slight damage, nothing horrible, some slight damage to the securing tabs that go down here, and I'll show that here in a second. So if I was to redo this again, and where I was nervous is I would pull from this side till I got a pop here. So I'd get all this out, and you'll see this in the other video. I'll show you here. Then I would come over and repeat the process here and then meet in the middle, right? What I did is I pulled here all the way up, and it caused some damage, slight damage, nothing major, to the securing tabs down in here. If I would have kind of went the other way, I think I would have avoided that damage to the tabs. I only plan on removing this thing one time. So I'm trying to get all my stuff in it. I'll show all the stuff I'm going to install in here so you can kind of figure it out as well, if that's something that interests you. But you pull from here, pull from here, get this loosened, and then these last middle tabs, I'm going to show you this in a second so it makes sense, I would pull last. And I think from there you'll get a clean breakaway. I was nervous because the way that this trim feels, it feels like I might have broke this edge off, but after removing it, I realized that would not have been the case. But it felt like I might have flexed this thing out to the point of breaking. So let me kind of show you what this layout looks like now. So first off, let's look at the back side. So there are back tabs here. Those back tabs are right here. There are front tabs here and here, front tab here and here, and you can kind of see how there's a little bit of damage on those right there. But without having any familiarization into what this looked like, I wasn't sure what I was going to deal with. So you can see right here, pull, those were fairly easy to get out. This one was challenging on both sides, and that's where some damage happened there. So pry here and here. So if I was going to come in here and do this again, let's show you again. I would pry here to pop this. I would come down here, pry to pop these and close, and make sure you have that lip right there. I would then repeat that process, pry and pry. I'd come back here then in the center, so you kind of see that center console, pry and pry. From there, I think that should easily pop out well for you. Now, later on today, we're going to get in, this is the, what do they call that? That's the old accessory port for a cigarette lighter. We're going to tap into this wire to hardwire my Garmin unit in there. So that's the plan. In addition, we're going to reinforce this area. We're going to reinforce this area for my slide mount to go up to. When my radio comes, we're going to figure out what makes the most sense here to mount to. Run the wires in as well. And then for my Pro switcher, I think we're going to remount this here, over here. And we're going to show all of this right here. I think we're going to remount this here and fish the wire in. And you can gain access, so you can kind of feel back in here. So that's why I really wanted to gain access into this point. Like if you were looking for a spot for like a second RAM mount, really good spot right here for a second RAM mount. Maybe you're trying to do a tablet or something like that holder. This would be a good spot to mount. Over here on this side, it's a little more built up material, kind of harder to drill through. All right, gang. So I decided to kind of re-record the ending of this here, just because all the video I took, I don't know what happened. Somehow it got corrupted or not. I'm just not happy with it. So I wanted to summarize everything for you, how it was installed, the mistakes that were made, and things I would just recommend. First off, I recommend pulling from left or right, or left or right, and work your way in. So you start with one pop here, kind of like maybe 1 inch from the left corner. Get that to pop. Start with the same spot on the right corner. Then work your way to the inside of the curve here. This is where the other one is. Pop that. Same thing on the opposite side. Pop that. The unit should lift with a little bit of force and come out. So that's how you gain access to it. When we installed our Garmin, we made a mistake here. Say a command. Oh, see, it's on. When we installed it, we made a mistake. So we used the cigarette lighter, which is a 12 volt, as our power source for everything. And we just basically laminated it and sent it to everything. What we didn't realize is that the Garmin cigarette lighter is actually a step down device. So it actually stepped down, I think it's the amps a bit, and that ended up frying my device. I had to get a refurb one. So what we did to fix that is we basically put the step down device, and I kind of have a video of this, I'll kind of show you. We put that in line to the power that we ran to this unit. So we undid the cabling that we originally did that caused it to fry. We then took the little device, basically the board that was inside the cigarette lighter adapter for this unit, and we made that the inline portion. So power from the original cigarette lighter came to it. It got stepped down through the Garmin thing, and that step down is what came to this. Wrapped it with electrical tape. We were good. Everything else, we used the same power for that. With the switcher, I was originally going to put it down here. I realized it was just way better for me up tall here. So same thing, we use that same power source, so it's key power. Tapped into that, we ran the wire all the way up the A-arm, just kind of tacking it into this trim piece here. I have a little setup for a camera over here, which you probably can't see. Use that as a guide to fit over here. For me, that works really well. So I don't have to worry about the battery anymore. I did mount the Midland GMRS radio here. It's right above the cigarette lighter portion, or it's right below the cigarette lighter, I should say, and it's right above where you have to put the key slot in if it doesn't recognize your key anymore. So it sits right there. I put a piece of wood behind it so that I can screw, so from the inside, piece of wood, so I can screw the mounting thing for the GMRS onto that. My semi-automatic slide. So some of you might be wondering, why do you have that? Well, first off, I am a concealed weapons permit holder here in a state that's very challenging to get these. I'm also a veteran. I know how to use firearms very well. That said, I typically choose not to walk around with my firearm with a round chambered in it. Unless I'm in a situation to where my spidey sense is tingling, I don't like to do that. I know a lot of you be like, hey, don't do that, Sean. You should always be walking around chambered. This is my preferences of what I think for safety, how I like to do it. So with the slide here, I put a piece of aluminum on the back side so that the slide actually had something to bolt into. So it's basically laminated between both pieces there. It's just a magnetic holder for a semi-auto handgun. If you were ever in a situation to where you unfortunately had to chamber a round, you just push down and the round's chamber, and now your weapon is hot there. So that's why I've done that. Once again, firearm safety is key. Please don't do this unless you've been trained on firearms, because you really can't hurt yourself there. And I did open this back up. I've opened it back up a couple times, even though I said I wasn't going to, because after I started working, like, where's the best place for my GMRS handheld, I kept on putting the mount on this and it just kept on falling off. We're off-road and it would rattle, it would fall off. And then I got tired of that. So I took a ram mount ball, I put this in there, kind of undid that, drilled through this. Ram mount ball, really easy, and then you can mount anything you want there. One thing I will say, if you are in a Sprinter van like this, where you have this like diamond plating look on it, you should always do this anyways, but I didn't because I was lazy. You're supposed to step up as you're drilling your holes in. You're supposed to step up to your actual size of the bolt that you're going to put in. I just like, oh, this is what's going in. And I didn't realize this was actually just laminated on top of something. So when I did that, it started to buckle a little bit. So I had to back it out and go a little bit slower with it. So if you are going to actually drill into this laminated material here, just step down, like, so basically go like a half bit size or smaller, and then work your way up just to make the hole a little bit bigger and bigger, and you shouldn't have any issues there. But I'm really happy with the entire thing. For my standpoint, how I use this van, this section is fairly complete for me. I got everything hardwired in that I want. I've made the best use of space that I can with everything, and I'm really happy with it. So with that, hopefully you found this helpful. If you see anything that I made a mistake on, or you think, hey, did you know this? Let me know. Please comment below if you have any comments about this. What did you like? What have you learned? And once again, hey, if you enjoy this stuff, please consider liking and subscribing. I love doing this stuff. I love sharing knowledge, but I really love getting outside and sharing those adventures with you guys. So until next time, guys, I hope I see you on the trails.